Monday, April 20th, 2026, Township of Hamilton committee meeting to order. Please rise for the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by transmitting notice of this meeting to the Press of Atlantic City, Star Ledger, and Atlantic County Record on January 6, 2026. Mr. Aiken?
Here.
Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Ms. Thompson?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
Mayor Patali?
Here. We have a moment of silence for private reflection. Thank you. Proclamations. We have a proclamation for Hamilton Elite Basketball Team. Woman Thompson.
Okay. Whereas the Hamilton Elite Basketball Organization is committed to developing young athletes both on and off the court through discipline, teamwork, and character. Whereas the junior varsity JV team has demonstrated unwavering dedication, resilience, and elite performance throughout the season, finishing with an undefeated record and securing their second consecutive Cape Atlantic Junior Cal Championship. Whereas the Pee Wee team has exemplified the true spirit of the game through growth, determination, and excellence, achieving an undefeated season and capturing the March Madness Championship. Whereas these outstanding accomplishments are the direct result of countless hours of hard work, commitment, and sacrifice by the players, along with the leadership, mentorship, and guidance of their coaches. Whereas the success of both teams reflects the strength, vision, and culture of the Hamilton Elite Organization, which continues to develop not only exceptional student athletes, but also outstanding young individuals within the community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the sworn members of Hamilton Township Committee in Mays Landing, New Jersey, do hereby proudly recognize and celebrate the undefeated seasons of both the junior varsity and Pee Wee teams of Hamilton Elite, honoring their excellence, teamwork, and dedication to the game of basketball, and particularly as established this 20th day of April in the year of 2026.
Coach, I want to say thank y'all, Hamilton Township. I got a little note here to read real quick, take too much of your time. We'd like to extend our sincere appreciation to the Hamilton Township Committee for recognizing and honoring our youth. We are truly proud to represent Hamilton Township, and this acknowledgement goes a long way as these young athletes continue to grow. The life lessons learned through sports, discipline, teamwork, respect, and perseverance are values that will guide them well beyond the game. Hamilton Elite been a part of this community for the past 11 years, consistently making a positive impact on our youth and their families. We are committed to create an environment where our players are supported both on and off the court, helping them develop not only as athletes, but young men and women of character. We are proud to share that our program have achieved championships for the second year in a row, an accomplishment that reflects the hard work, dedication, and commitment of our players and coaches. Our goal is to continue uplifting and supporting our youth while leaving a lasting impact that reaches far beyond today. We strive to inspire them to succeed in all areas of life and to carry the values they've learned with them into the future. Thank you again for the recognition and continued support of our program and the youth of Hamilton Township. Our Pee-wee, our JV, and our Pee-wee players come up, take a picture with the committee if you don't mind. Yes. Come on, players.
Good job, guys.
Good job. Good job.
Congratulations.
Oh,
wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You allowed to take these?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You asked.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next we have guest presentations. Homeless Initiative Program in Atlantic County. Yvette Soto.
Good evening, all of you. Thank you for having me here tonight. It's a pleasure to be here. I recently became, since January, the new CEO of the Spanish Community Center. The center opened back in 1969 when we were getting agricultural workers from the island of Puerto Rico, and now the migrant workers are mostly from South America. We have different programs for the overall population, not only Latinos. Everyone is getting our services. And I wanted to let you know that we're servicing Hamilton Township. We started a food pantry mobile program, which Committee Woman Tracy Thompson came with me the other day. We're distributing different food throughout the county. We are starting a new homeless prevention program. We have a couple who are 2 case managers who are working with the homeless in our communities. What they're doing is providing basic needs. Right now, we do not have a shelter, but we are referring people to different shelters in the area, as well as if you get any calls, you can reach out to the Spanish Community Center. We'll be more than happy to provide them mental health, provide them food distribution, as well as any other case management necessities that they need. We are very proud to say that we started in-home therapy for older adults. We have quite a few clients from Hamilton Township, as well as different families in the overall community, as well as parenting classes. And most recently, we just did a partnership with Ideal Institute, and we're giving scholarships for youth between the ages of 16 to 24 if they want to become an electrician or HVAC technician. We have that connection. We're very proud to be able to say that we have 5 kids from Hamilton Township who applied for the scholarships. Thank you so much. Any questions?
How can people contact you through the Spanish Community Center?
Yes, it's 856-697-2967 or 609-345-1249. We have an office in Atlantic City, 3900 Ventnor, and another office in Landisville, 303 Sumner Avenue in Landisville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no addition or deletions, no late agenda items, so we will move on to discussion. Oh, no, Anybody sign up for early public comment?
We
Sorry,
have no one signed up.
thank you. Discussion, formal action may be taken. We're going to go with presentation of Township of Hamilton Watershed Improvement Plan Phase 1. Remington and Vernick Engineers. Mr. Smith and
Mr. Bervogel from our office. Good evening, Mayor, Township
evening.
Committee. We're here to present the watershed inventory report that our office prepared for Hamilton Township. It's the first step in a multi-step process. The next phase is the I apologize, I'm talking funny, I just had a tooth filled. It's the watershed assessment report, which is due January 1st, 2027, and then it follows up with the watershed improvement plan, which is due December 31st, 2027. I provided Mr. Knoll with a copy of the fact sheet and a copy of the report. I also provided Mr. Watkins with a copy of the fact sheet and the report. And I'm going to leave a couple of additional copies of the report and also the fact sheet. I'm going to be submitting the copy of the report to Mr. Knoll to put on the Township Stormwater website so that residents and constituents can review it. And then they provide comments to the email address that's on the fact sheet. And the comments will be incorporated along with comments we received from the DEP. But Rich is going to give you a little bit more in-depth explanation of what the report is.
All right, good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
committee members, administrator, engineer. Bob covered a lot of what I was going to cover. So basically, this report is a pretty in-depth review of all of your assets in your community. It's an inventory of all your outfalls, all of your interconnections, all your inlets, all your flows from and to other entities, such as the county or private entities. It defines all of your impervious surface. It defines all your TMDLs, which are total daily maximum limits, which are impairments into water. What affects the water quality in the community. There are 20 watersheds in Hamilton County, or in Hamilton Township. It is the most that we've dealt with, at least I've dealt with. The next closest is 17. Phase 2 will take a look at those impairments, predominantly phosphorus, mercury, fecal coliform, and what things can be done operationally and engineering-wise to control the quality of the water or improve the quality of water over time. This report needs to be posted for 60 days, and we'll receive any comment. The comments will go to the Public Works Department. We have an email address, which is on the fact sheet. And then we can either, working with Mr. Watkins, or Mr. Watkins can answer them, or we can answer them, have a second follow-up meeting to share what those questions were. And then you have to have 2 public meetings during the remainder of this year to talk about the phase 2, which is a little more in depth. What things can you do to improve that water quality over the next X number of years? You have to identify funding sources. You have to identify what type of projects, and they can be either engineering or operational. So operational would affect your Public Works Department, like street sweeping. Say you're going to sweep more streets. You have a requirement under the current permit, but you may say, okay, we want to improve it by getting X off the ground, so we're going to sweep 4 more times a year. I'm just using examples. Or you do engineering controls, like MTDs, to control stuff going into your outfalls. That's capital intensive. So you're going to have to plan for that. And in the third phase, you actually identify an implementation schedule of that. In addition, there's 2 other things you need to do with stormwater under the permit. You need to revise your stormwater management plan by January 1, 2028, or the end of this year, or 27, I'm sorry, January 1, 2027. Your stormwater management plan needs to be revised. And there is a template on the state website that allows you to do that. And you also, and you probably may remember this, in 2024 you had to revise your stormwater control ordinance. It has to be revised again. And that's in direct response to New Jersey REAL, which is climate control enactment that was put in last year. So if anyone have any questions? I know it's a lot of material. The report's pretty detailed. I worked with a team of people to do it. If Mr. Watkins, do you have any questions, by all means, you can give me a call, give me a shout, or reach out to Bob. Any questions about this at all?
Questions, anybody? No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Mayor.
Moving on, we'll go to a landfill redevelopment update from Resource Renewal, Jeff Day.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, members of the committee. I'm going to sit up here so I got my.
Oh, boy.
All right. Anyway, apologies. So we'll move through this quickly. Mayor told me to do it last time. So everything's going pretty well out on the site. We got a couple of challenges with paperwork that we're dealing with, and we'll touch on some of those. So this is the design plan, and as you can see here, this is just a little bit of a refresher. We've got the main landfill lot, the 4 other lots on the side, working with Robert and Emily on trying to get those lots incorporated into the redevelopment area and the redevelopment plan. Moving that process forward is important for us. And the lot 57 and the 4 adjacent lots as we discussed before. It also shows the corridor around the site, the 100-foot corridor that the plan is required for habitat protection for the red-headed woodpecker. In order to accommodate that and the change, the township added lot 5815 in the bottom right-hand corner. That's all kind of good. This is one of the cool shots I was talking about. This is actually from March to the 3rd week in March. We're looking from the southwest corner, so 9th Street down in the corner here. You can see the services. I didn't advance the screen, did I? I'm just looking at it myself. My bad. So this is the southwest corner. You can see the special services school up in the far corner there. These are 2 of the basins in the bottom area. The basins are now installed and cordoned off with silt fence. And the next step for the basins, once we finish the grading up top, is to install the inlets and the outlets into there's storm swales that collects the water running off the landfill, and that diverts through into an inlet and to an outlet into the basin itself. This is from the other side in the other corner. This is basically the lot 5815 down in the bottom right-hand corner of the site plan, and shows you from the other side these basins here. And you can see, let me see if the other. So there's 2 basins here. There's 3 basins along the southwest corridor here, and then there are other basins are up in the top. We'll see those from the next photo. These here. This is a more recent shot from this month. I believe it was last week or the week before. The darker material is the topsoil. So that area is already graded to -6 inches, and then the top 6 inches of topsoil goes on top of that. You can see the stormwater structures, inlets and outfall concrete pieces down there in the bottom left-hand side. So making great progress, moving right along, and we anticipate that topsoil import will be completed this week, and then we'll get to a final grading of the site, and then the stormwater infrastructure will start to go in, as I discussed before. That's going to take during the next 30 days or so. Major construction act, and as soon as the stormwater is installed, etc., then we'll seed the entire site, hydroseed the site. The major construction work ought to be finished by June, with demobilization follow then, and then we're going to wait for grass to grow, basically. And there's a lot of other activities. We'll reinstall the monitoring wells, start the monitoring well program, and that's reflected in this schedule. I had some other issues I was dealing with my family today, so I didn't get a chance to print out the larger ones for you, but I'm going to update this schedule and overlay the solar tasks and schedule and integrate that into this, and I'll provide Brett and Robert and everybody copies of that probably toward the 1st or 2nd week in May. We've got a meeting next week with the solar developer and matching up our schedules here. So this basically shows you what we talked about. The line there is today. We've We've got the other construction activities, those other bars going out in the sort of bottom third of is the quarterly groundwater monitoring. And we submit our reports, et cetera, to the DEP, and that last bar on the bottom is a DEP reviewing the final reports, the permit applications, and issuing those. And this basically has us getting completion and issue of an RAO toward the end of 27. We'll be finished with most of our construction, as I mentioned. Made a joke about the grass growing. The solar development activities and engineering and planning is ongoing. They've submitted their interconnection application with the utility. They had a workshop meeting here with Township, and I anticipate that, I think they told me that their Pinelands application, let's look at that now. This is the draft soil erosion sediment control plan from their application. It's going to go into Pinelands. And we've talked about this before. You can see that this is the actual panels and the layout. In the middle there is our equipment pads where the inverters and interconnections and transformers and stuff will sit. And then we'll have the two projects, one running out to Nawakwa and the other going out to the corner of 19th Street like that. Those are the two interconnection points that we've talked about in the past. And this just gives you, I thought this rather than the other one gave a clearer picture of exactly where the solar is being installed and how it's going to connect to the grid. As we mentioned before, probably we got shaved down a little bit on interconnection, so the project's probably going to be a 7 megawatt project or just under 7 megawatts with 5 going to 19th Street and the balance going out to Nawakwa. And again, we've got a summary of the benefit there at the bottom to the individual households and the community in total in savings in electrical costs. We'll have, as I say, workshops and so forth as we get into probably toward the end of this year, or middle third part of this year, with how to sign up and how to get signed up for the community solar program, etc. I think that's when we'll have that. It might be a little bit late. It might be the beginning of next year once the interconnection and community solar approvals in place. That's all the things that they're doing now. Site plan application, I'm not sure exactly when that's going to be. I'm not sure if they're going to wait for Pinelands or come in during that review process by Pinelands, but that ought to be in the next couple of months as well. So that's all rolling. So they've got engineering, planning, approvals they're going to be getting. Construction of the solar array should start sometime between a year from now and middle of next year. It's about a 6-month project, and hopefully, I think the plan would be to have electrical finished with electrical production toward the end of next year into the first quarter of 28. So that's kind of the schedule that we're on right now. And that's all I had. So I just have those few slides. And I can answer any questions.
Very good. Any questions, anybody?
Yes. Do you know when that solar project will be coming in front of the planning board?
They're going to submit the application sometime in the next 2 months, I believe.
2 months? Okay.
Could be as soon as sometime in May. I'm not sure if they're going to wait for Pineland review or come in while that's going on.
Okay. Thank you.
And the only other thing I'll add is this is the other paperwork I mentioned. We're having a little trouble with the clearing title on the landfill lot. Because as some of you might know, Aileen was telling me that lot used to have 500 individual lots in it back in the day. They've cleared like 370 of them, and so we're going to be working. I'm reaching out to Robert and Brett and working with the township on trying to find those records of when the township actually got title to the entire parcel. But it's obviously important to clear title and get title insurance on it. So it's more challenging than a straight up residential property you're buying from.
Gotcha. Any other questions or comments? Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So moving on to 3C, Amazon, presentation of redevelopment agreement, presentation of amendment to redevelopment agreement. Hi, Emily.
Emily Givens, Redevelopment Council for the Township. As the mayor mentioned, we're here this evening for a presentation to committee of a proposed amendment to the redevelopment agreement that was entered into between Amazon and the Township. The initial agreement was for the redevelopment of a portion of the former Atlantic City racetrack. The project is still anticipated to be there. And the area that the project needs to encompass has increased. So minor subdivision was done, approved already. Our agreement reflected very specific criteria for the project. And so the amendment is required because the project parameters have changed. And we do have representatives of Amazon here tonight to fully explain to committee and to the public what those changes are. I have provided a brief summary to the committee of the changes so that you can follow along that are reflected in the amendment. But basically, it is to describe the project as it is going to be presented through their site plan application to the planning board, defines what the overall project site is now, that area is larger, and gives parameters for the community benefits if there is a substantial development impact from the project itself. And there's a committee that's going to be evaluating that through Mr. Goodman's office. When the project is ready for construction permits, that's when that impact fee will be paid. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Joe Paparo and Danielle Aristi. Is that correct? Okay.
Thank you very much. Could you go to the first exhibit? There should be two. The Exhibit A, I think there's one. A good evening, Mayor, Township Committee members. Joe Paparo from Porzio, Bromberg, and Newman on behalf of Amazon.com Services, LLC. I have with me Danielle Aristi.
Good evening, Mayor and committee members. Thank you for your time this evening.
And Mayor, committee members, as Ms. Givens stated, we are here for an amendment to the redevelopment agreement. And we wanted to take the opportunity not just to talk about that, but to also give the township a progress update, status update on where the project stands currently. So approximately 1 year ago, as a matter of fact, April 22nd of 2025, the redevelopment agreement with Amazon was executed. Immediately after the execution of that agreement, the Amazon team moved forward diligently with submitting plans for the project to the Hamilton Township Planning Board as well as the county for review of that site plan and subdivision. While those applications were pending, Amazon, it's always innovating, came up with a new and enhanced prototype for this site. That prototype required modifications to the design. So in order to incorporate those design changes and to keep the project moving, the team separated the subdivision from the site plan because the site plan required extensive revisions from an engineering standpoint, allowing us to move forward with the subdivision while those revisions were being made. We did appear before the Planning Board of Hamilton Township in February for the subdivision of the parcel of the Atlantic City Racecourse into the two parcels in question. The subdivision that was approved by the Planning Board provides a larger parcel for the Amazon facility, and that's due to the design change. As you'll hear this evening, the original prototype was a multi-storied distribution and fulfillment center. That prototype was replaced with a more traditional one-story, we'll call it, facility. So instead of going more vertical, it's now lower and it's taking up more land area. So the subdivision needed to be modified, and the lot configurations. Again, that was submitted to the county and to the Township Planning Board for just the subdivision, and that was approved to allow these two parcels to be separated legally. It was approved by both Hamilton Township and the county. After the subdivision, the engineering team, we do have representatives here this evening, moved forward diligently again with the revisions to the site plan materials. Those were resubmitted back to Hamilton Township, and they are currently under review by the township's consultants, engineers and planners. And we expect to hear shortly as to whether or not the application, the revised application is now complete and can be scheduled for site plan review by the planning board. So that's just a quick progress and status update as to where the project sits. And as Ms. Gibbons stated, because the configuration and the layout changed, the redevelopment agreement that we entered into with the township back almost a year ago needs to be updated and brought current so that it aligns with this new design. The changes primarily in the redevelopment agreement amendment that you have before you are just that, to refine the project description, to reflect the new footprint, to reflect the fact that it's no longer a multi-story building, it's down to a more traditional one-story building. And also to change some other terms of the redevelopment agreement, primarily the project schedule. In light of this pivot that Amazon needed to incorporate into this project, the project schedule had to be adjusted accordingly. The good news is that we did make progress with your planning board on the subdivision while these details are being revised. The Pinelands Commission also has seen the revised concept, and they have made a determination that the changes are not significant enough to require a new certificate of filing. So the Pinelands Commission is allowing us to proceed under the original certificate of filing because, again, although in Amazon's world this is a significant change, to the rest of us it's not as significant when it comes to a site plan review position on what's needed to be done to advance the project. What you have on the screen before you is the approved subdivision plan from the planning board, and you'll note in the upper portion of the screen that larger parcel is the proposed Amazon parcel. The remainder is shown at the bottom of your screen. And so again, this reconfiguration of the parcels was done again to accommodate the changes in the facilities layout on the site. So in addition to the subdivision, if you wanted to go to the next, here he comes. We're going to go to the next exhibit, which is, both of these exhibits are attached to your RDA amendment. The next exhibit, this is the new conceptual site plan. Again, it shows the one-story facility with the associated parking and trailer parking on the larger parcel that was created by the subdivision. The good news is that there are no new deviations or variances or anything that would distinguish this project from the redevelopment plan that was put in place. This project will comply with the redevelopment plan goals and objectives and the zoning guidelines of the Township of Hamilton for this site. There were some sign variances, or I'll call them deviations, that were originally requested as part of the first application for some of the directional signs that weren't contemplated when the redevelopment plan was put together. Those directional signs most likely will still be part of this proposal. But again, no deviations from any of the zoning requirements of your redevelopment plan, setbacks, height, all of those things, parking requirements, everything's still being met. Again, this is really being done to accommodate the new configuration. I mentioned that the Pinelands has already weighed in on this and feels like these changes are not significant enough to warrant a new certificate of filing. And all of the other components of the redevelopment plan, such as sound attenuation and screening and landscaping, are all still being incorporated in this proposal. I'd like to just have Danielle Aristi come forward again, just briefly to talk about Amazon's pivot to this latest and greatest prototype, and to just again confirm that nothing from an operational standpoint is really changing from what we presented to you almost a year ago. Danielle?
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, so while we're considering, we call it a change, the way that these buildings work in all of our program and all of our networks, this is a first mile site. It is the journey of the package. That's where it begins, in our first mile site. So this will be what we call an ARS, an Amazon Robotics Sortation Fulfillment Center. That's the same facility that was proposed originally when we were here roughly a year ago. But however, we have rolled out a complete new design template. So because of where we were in the project, we got caught up in it, and we had to pivot to that. The good news about it is the operation that's occurring in this building while Joe said the prior version was more vertical, and this is more horizontal, it's still the same activities. It's product coming in typically on pallets that'll be broken down, put onto totes, moved through material handling equipment, and then stored on racking that gets moved around by robotics or robots. That's what we call them, an ARS facility. And then when a customer hits purchase on the website or on the app, that will trigger for that item to be moved again by a robot over to a working station where that is picked, and the customer order is fulfilled, put into a box or a package, labeled, and sent outbound. So it's really the same activity occurring. It's the same exact type of facility that was previously contemplated. Although we are reducing the square footage for this operation, we are still going to be creating roughly 750 full-time jobs for this facility, which was the same under the prior application. So I'm happy to report that that's not changing. And I think, Joe covered the more technical aspects, but it's same thing, just our latest and greatest design.
Mayor, one thing I neglected when I was going over the components of this project that are the same and some of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, there is an encouragement in the redevelopment plan, as everyone's aware, to have Leipzig Avenue, once it's improved to accommodate this facility, dedicated to Atlantic County. That's also included in this proposal, and that's currently under review by the township's consultant. So that also is another component that's been just carried forward. There is no change. Access to the facility, all four entrances on Leipzig will remain. Those are the same. Those roadway improvements that'll be constructed as part of this redevelopment, once they are constructed and inspected by the county to their satisfaction, that roadway will be dedicated to Atlantic County. Again, none of those components of the project have changed. We're happy to answer any questions. Again, we do have representatives of Kimley Horn. Again, this is not a planning board meeting, but we wanted to have them here in case there's any technical comments. But we can represent, and I'm sure your professionals can weigh in on it, that this proposal, in our opinion, is consistent with the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan. Thank you.
So this might be just an overlook, but on your plans here,
Yes.
it's saying proposed 2-story warehouse.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's a great point. It's not
It's changing to a 1-story level.
No, and I think the reference is inside this building, and Danielle can speak a little bit more in detail operationally, there's actually a mezzanine level. There's a raised platform inside this 1-story building where the robotic equipment and other technologies are held and housed. That helps the package, product process. But Danielle, did you want to weigh in briefly on the mezzanine? But that's the reason why, from an engineering standpoint, from a building code standpoint, they're calling it 2 stories because there's a mezzanine level inside.
Thank you. I'm good.
Any other questions, comments?
No, just one it's a very well put together presentation, and I just see that in 36 months it should be complete with construction. So what is the date? Proposed date?
So we don't have an exact date yet because we still have to go through the planning board and get that approval, and they get the final Pinelands Commission approval that would allow the township to issue the permits. But yeah, the redevelopment agreement allows for 36 months from that point to construct. Thank you.
The good news is that, again, we're a bit ahead of schedule because of the fact that we did separate out the subdivision from the site plan, and we're able to at least check that box while the site plan technical engineering was being revised. So we should be, again, moving forward as quickly as possible.
Any other questions, comments?
I'm happy to hear that you still were able to keep about 750 employees. So that was very good. I'm excited to hear about that.
Thank you.
Bless you.
We're happy to keep that consistent.
Yes, thank you.
Else? Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Mayor and Committee, you do have a resolution before you to approve this amendment. And you are also making a determination through this resolution that the proposal that you saw this evening is consistent with the redevelopment plan and the amended redevelopment agreement.
That being said,
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Just one item.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Very good. Moving on, discussion 2026 Cove staffing. Mr. Administrator.
Good evening. So at the last meeting, we hired a new youth services and protection coordinator. One of the things that we've been discussing over the last couple months with Carol's exit coming in May is day manager and possibly adding a deputy day manager to the Cove when the day manager is needs to take a day off or is absent unexpectedly. We started looking at the existing staff from last year that are going to be coming back this year, and one of the things that I would like to do is change one of our current beach badge checking positions to a deputy day manager position. It would keep the head count the same at the Cove. We would not have to increase any salaries at the Cove. It would just be a change in the salary ordinance to create this middle management position in the absence that would act in the absence of the day manager.
Okay. Any questions or comments? So we need a motion for Ken to go ahead and prepare this ordinance. Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Next, discussion enhancing township code enforcement. Brett and Robert.
I met with the committee at the time, and one of the marching orders from the committee was to do a better job with code enforcement, property maintenance, streamline the process and be more proactive with code enforcement and property maintenance enforcement. 3 years ago, I've been searching for an answer on this. Our code enforcement, right now code enforcement falls under the construction office. They do a good job with it. Unfortunately, they're very busy with, they mostly do fire prevention, lead inspections, very busy with that. And we are very reactive over there. If we get a call, we go and we deal with it. The goal is to be more proactive with code enforcement. Go out, send an inspector out every day, break the town out into 5 different sections, and each day hit a different section and go through all the neighborhoods and problem areas and write violations, and with the goal of getting properties back into compliance. The goal here isn't to make this a moneymaker. This isn't supposed to be a moneymaker. It's supposed to get properties into compliance. To do this, we need to move code enforcement over to the under community development, and we want to talk. Robert's going to talk about the creation of a municipal enforcement officer, which would basically dissolve the existing zoning officer position and add several, I think 9 new duties to the position, new oversights to the position, and then having an administrative enforcement officer overseeing this position as well as the office and code enforcement as a whole. So basically, we're going to talk about the creation of the municipal enforcement officer's position. This is an integrative enforcement and compliance role for the township. The overall purpose is to, again, take what the zoning officer's duties are and morph those into a position that is going to deal with environmental issues in the township, health, nuisance issues, quality of life issues. We talked about property maintenance, and we're going to take it a step further and we're going to look at redevelopment sites. One of the things that happens in the town, we have projects come through, and there's certain stipulations that they need to meet once they're open. Right now, it's who's checking on that? Who's going back and making sure that a business, after they open 6 months down the road, part of their agreement was to seal coat the parking lot or get the parking lot striped or add this tree or move this trash enclosure, redo this trash enclosure. Really, I guess it would fall under the engineer, but this is more of a day-to-day where this municipal enforcement officer is out on the road and he's checking, he's going out and he's checking these commercial sites. He's also checking on residential issues, and he's reporting back to the administrative enforcement officer, who ultimately reports back to me, and back to committee.
Right. So just as an introduction, my name is Robert Gilman. I'm Director of Community and Economic Development, responsible for planning, zoning, and redevelopment. I also want to introduce my colleague, Stephen Hartzell, who is the existing zoning officer, and I've been working with him over the last year and a half in the time that I've been here. I come from a background where I've done a lot of code enforcement in the past and working with the courts in a tightly bound municipal system. We got here, and the court is handled different because it's now been separated out to the county. I can say that we've learned a lot in this process, and as a result, we've also made some great progress in terms of enforcing zoning ordinances and violations, and gotten some great successes and have been able to chip away at a number of long-term cases that have been open. I'd also say most recently we had we've kind of proven out that we've got an improving relationship with the local Atlantic County court system and their officials, and they've been open to reforms that we've been suggesting. And we've entertained this concept with them, and they understand what the balancing act of being able to streamline all this in a cross-jurisdictional way and still be effective. When we took a look at this last time, we were just looking at kind of having Steve do both zoning enforcement and code enforcement. But the more and more we looked at it, we also realized that many times we were being asked to take a look at complaints and violations, which were often outside that, but was certainly within the purview of the municipal domain for calling out violations of behavior. A lot of them often under the nuisance authority of the township. But by going through the ordinance itself, I actually discovered a number of items where we've actually called this out. Probably a little known that there's actually an environmental enforcement officer defined in our ordinance, which I did not know about until we started taking a look at this. And if we take a look at the first block here under environmental enforcement, what I've tried to do is try to capture what those elements are that the ordinance defines, or at least we fall under jurisdiction for, what a basis we have authority for enforcing it, and then what we would expect the municipal enforcement officer to do in response. And it's unfortunately a little cut off. I've also tried to identify where I thought it was important for us to define where there are limits where we cannot act jurisdictionally and understand what those limits are, so that we're, make sure that we're playing nice in the sandbox with any other jurisdiction or agency. I won't read through these line by line, but I would invite you to look through them, and if there's questions after this presentation, to please give myself or Brett a call, and we'll certainly work through this with you. We've certainly dealt with environmental enforcement issues. Last year we had an incident where Intex was generating a great deal of plastic dust that was escaping their facility, and we were able to find the jurisdiction by which we could send them a violation. We did, and thankfully they were very cooperative, and they were able to get it fixed up in a very short time frame. We've also had complaints under the domain of health enforcement, mostly during the great egg inflation, and everyone thought they'd become millionaires by suddenly popping up a lot of coops in their yard. It raised a lot of questions about health and safety, especially in residential neighborhoods. And we were able to start working those issues, and it's thankfully calmed down. Under nuisance and quality of life, this is a general power of most municipalities, but it's also one that enables us to cover a great number of general complaints. Basically, the general principle is that if you're somehow doing something which is violating your neighbor's rights, it would normally fall under the nuisance authority, and we'd have an opportunity to, at first speak to the potential violator, give them a moment to try to fix it if they can. If they don't, we'll send them a violation, and if they don't, they will end up in court with a summons. There's the good thing about this is that if it comes under this, if someone's a repeat offender, most courts get very serious about enforcement in terms of actual fines that are imposed. They want to see the behavior stopped as quickly as possible. Property maintenance enforcement is essentially what code enforcement does today. And generally, the general principles up top is that if we have an opportunity to take a look at exterior building conditions, if they're unsafe or they're not in accordance with local ordinance, we can act upon it. Really, the most important thing is the structural deterioration. If we see that visibly, we'd be working with the construction office to identify if a structure is potentially unsafe or unfit and coordinate on that. We would also be taking a closer look at the vacant and abandoned property compliance that's currently outsourced in the township, and I've taken a look at those reports, and they appear to be accurate, and the advantage is that they are on top of all the renewal fees for registration that come into the township. But we're continuing to take a look and see if there's opportunities for us to increase basically the accuracy of that as well. Zoning enforcement is what we've been doing since I've gotten here. Again, we've made some very significant progress. It's also caused us to take a look at our own ordinances and where we're at. And in the coming months, we will be taking a look at, we'll be coming back to you with proposed recommendations for changing those to better align with where we'd like to see the township go in terms of performance. This comes in the areas of sidewalks, storage containers. The tree ordinance needs a minor modification, but we'll be coming back to you to discuss this and strengthening and enhancing the zoning enforcement that we're doing today. And as Brett noted earlier, many redevelopment and site plan activity that's been approved, we, for the most part, we see in the initial stages that there is a great deal of compliance. Nonetheless, we do have several notable cases that have been vetted with the planning board where we're seeing people have been given an approval for a site use, and their creeping use is violating that site plan. We're basically trying to get better eyes on this. Theoretically, one can revoke a site plan. It's a very lengthy and unpleasant process, but we think if we have sufficient focus here, we'd have an ability to get most of these basically swatted down or taken care of or remedied before we ever get to the point where we're going to have to see this as enforcement in court. One specific thing is that cannabis-specific sites, especially cultivators, as well as retailers as well, have unique requirements, the most notable that being around odor control. the municipal enforcement officer would have the authority to be able to go in and ensure that all requirements are being met by a cannabis-specific site. And we'd be able to coordinate with local and state authorities if there's any violations as well. Anyway, as a result of this, there's a number of cross-functional powers across this span of authority and responsibility. Some general principles around inspection authority. We can do any exterior inspections without a warrant. Interior inspections are subject to consent or a warrant. In our own experience, we've noticed that just generally, reasonably talking it out, people will consent to an inspection if there's a concern. And we can schedule compliance and follow-up as well. Our general approach is to have a talk first with most violators to see if they can remedy it immediately. We give them a reasonable amount of time to take care of it. If they don't, they get a formal notice of violation and a period to remedy it. If they don't, it's followed with a summons and a complaint for consistency, and then is heard in court. We are making modifications to our data and reporting system. The way the statutes are in there now, a lot of complaints were being filed under broader categories. We're trying to make this more specific so we have a better understanding of which violations fall into which bucket, and also creating custom reports that we've built around our platform that will allow us to track this better and understand the pipeline of violations. Going to hand this back to Brett at this point. If there's any questions before he wraps it up, I'd be glad to entertain any questions.
Any questions for Robert?
This is a lot. So when on here, when you said the cannabis specific enforcement, and it says
Forgive me, Ms. Thompson, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to get clarity. You have on here cannabis specific enforcement. I think it's number 7. And then it's in odor control compliances. Is that just directed to the actual facility or the business, or is that to individuals?
It is site-specific.
Site-specific, okay.
Correct. It's for people that we license to run a cannabis operation in the township, regardless of the class, whether it's a retail outfit or it's a cultivator. They all have unique operational requirements.
Right.
And we're going to be there to ensure that they comply with them.
Okay, so everything, because it was a lot of stuff, everything under
It
cannabis is site-specific.
Understood. Tried to be thorough.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anything dealing with individuals would be handled through the police department.
Okay.
Anybody else? Good. Brett?
So this position, the municipal enforcement officer would answer directly to the director of community development, which is Robert. They will coordinate with our construction official, public works department. Usually the public works department have first eyes on some of this stuff, and a lot of people report these types of violations to public works, and we found that a lot of the code enforcement violations are getting reported to the zoning office already. Same thing with zoning violations getting reported to the construction office. So right now, it's confusing to the public. So this would centralize all of these different complaints through the community development office. We also deal with the fire official. They have, again, they're in and out of a lot of businesses in the town, all businesses in the town, and many of our rental units are visited by the fire official on an annual basis. We'll deal with the health department and the police department as needed for petty offenses. We're looking for an annual salary for this position for 2026 to be $64,000, and increase to $72,000 in 2027. For the administrative enforcement officer, who will oversee the municipal enforcement officer, we're looking for one-time compensation for $4,500 annually. And that is a standalone dual rate. That would be a standalone dual rate position. That, again, it's not tied to the director of community development per se. In the future, if the position needs to be moved somewhere else, you have the ability to do that with these dual positions. But again, we are asking for the creation of 2 positions and dissolving the zoning officer's position in the salary ordinance.
Okay. Any questions, comments for Brett? Okay. So we will be looking for a motion for Ken to prepare an ordinance.
A motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Robert, Brett, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, moving on.
Man, hold on. Sunglasses?
4A, public hearing, adoption of ordinances. Ordinance 2131-2026, an ordinance amending Chapter 105, Article 4 of the Code of the Township of Hamilton entitled Cats. Ken, Brett?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. We discussed this previously in one of the meetings, one for introduction last meeting. This is enhancing the current cat ordinance under the Hamilton Township Code to allow us to deal with issues regarding nuisance or feral cats, also promote the health and public health and safety for animals here in Hamilton Township. So that's what for committee tonight for potential adoption along with
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? This is a public hearing. Anybody from the public wishes to speak? Motion to close.
Second.
I have a motion, a second to close. All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's have it. So, roll call vote, please.
Okay, so that was the motion to close. What's the motion and second to adopt?
I'm assuming the original motion second was open to the public.
Okay.
Motion to close.
Sorry.
Now we need a motion to adopt.
Anybody motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Introduction of ordinances. Public hearing will be held May 4th, 2026. Ordinance of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 137, titled Canvassers, Peddlers, and Solicitors. Mr. Solicitor?
Thank you, Mayor. This is Chapter 137 of the Township Code. If committee recalls, the public recalls, this was brought and passed to me to strengthen the current canvassing, soliciting, and peddling portion of the Township Code, focusing on public safety and individuals that are essentially going door to door to the public. I had the opportunity to take a look at a lot of the similar ordinances across the state that are out there. We had our internal team, we had many discussions, and came up with the ordinances before committee tonight for their adoption. And there are essentially 7 points that we went through that we felt strengthen public safety here in the township. The first is the hours. I know that we discussed that last time. As committee remembers, there are certain exceptions to who needs a permit for statutory. Outside those exceptions here in the township, those that are applying for permits will be from 9 until sunset. So those hours change. It was previously 9 to 9. It's now being amended under this ordinance to 9 to sunset. We also took into consideration the request to add for the application process to add the license plate, motor vehicle license. We included that in there as well, along with the VIN number, all the other provisions that were in the prior portion of the code. We also added a very detailed section to allow for the Hamilton Police Department to review the application before it comes to the committee for approval. We give a recommendation that will allow for an in-depth review based on their discretion, including potential background search prior to it coming forward for approval. So that adds another layer of review safety concerns be revealed. We also took into consideration the ID or the badges that the committee wanted to look into. I had the opportunity to speak with the administrator. The ordinance in front of you allows for us to produce badges to be able to be worn or shown when they're going door to door. So that is another level of enhanced public protection. Based on all of these enhanced procedures, it was my position to recommend that we put in the appeal process in case of denial. It would give an applicant the ability to be able to come forward, to be heard, so we could take a second look at it to make sure that we didn't deny an application for this. It also gave us another provision based on concerns that have happened in other towns in the past, a revocation process, where if a permit was granted and there were repeat violations or offenses by a permit holder, that we can go through the revocation process. As Nicholas is saying, you've had too many violations, and we could enact a code to be able to do that. And because of all these, we've also asked up the fees for the permit process, which are reasonable and not substantially more. It's going up $25 per permit application, but that would allow us to hopefully offset some of the administrative fees and costs involved in this, including producing those badges. So all of those enhanced features are on top of what we previously did, just to kind of expand and provide better service to the residents.
Very good.
Thank you.
So I hear a motion to introduce.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Okay, moving on. Award of bids, contracts, change orders. Resolution authorizing assignment of the professional services contract for the township traffic engineer from Stephen Mazer of CME Associates to Stephen Mazer of Artheon Incorporated, and authorizing the mayor to execute the assignment addendum.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. 6B, resolution authorizing assignment of the professional services contract for the township solicitor from Kenneth M. Warren, Jr. Esquire of Leonard Warren and Leonard LLC to Kenneth M. Warren, Jr. Esquire of Warren Law Firm LLC, and authorizing the mayor to execute the assignment addendum.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes.
All yes.
Consent agenda. We have A through E.
Mayor, could I pull B?
Pull B. Okay.
Please.
Are you saying B or D?
B.
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 I as well would like to pull A.
Pull A. We have C, D, and E left.
No? Oh, yes, you're right.
Every now and then I get
I have a hard time.
I make a motion to move 7C, D, and E.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for C, D, and E. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Okay, we'll start with 7A.
I have a question. I know there's process in place. Does the Hamilton Mall have any infractions against them or anything that would curtail that we have in place so that they take care of the infractions before we issue a business registration?
This wouldn't preclude this business.
It wouldn't be part of that?
It wouldn't, but that's something I can look into and work with Mr. Goodman and Mr. Knoll to potentially amend it so that we can take a look at that as well.
Yeah, I thought we had something in place that would entice them to take care of their infractions so that they can have this stuff.
No, not at this point, not at this point, not especially once it goes through internally and it's all been approved before committee.
Thank you.
So is there something that we have to do next time? Because I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time.
We didn't do that before?
Not for this registration. Not that I'm aware of, but something I could look into with Mr. Goodman.
And if so, move forward with it?
Well, in this application, yes, it would still move forward before committee, but if there's any future
In
application,
future, exactly.
I can look in, I'll make a note of that.
So do we wait until after B, or do we motion on A?
We can motion on that.
I'll motion on A.
I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. 7B.
So Mayor and Committee, I asked for this resolution to be put on the agenda. It's a resolution in support of New Jersey Assembly Bill 3507, Senate Bill S726, establishing standards for determining an unconscionable rent increase. So the reason I had brought this forward is I'm going to go back a little bit. So on our February 2nd meeting, we had a discussion about a rent leveling advisory committee. Up here, if you remember, we had lengthy back and forth on this, and the committee decided at that time to table this, and we asked for our solicitor, Mr. Warren, to bring the committee some pending New Jersey state legislation that was out there for us to review and possibly move forward with that. Move forward to the 17th meeting. Mr. Warren provided the information with the legislation, to the committee for the review, in which we could adopt resolutions to support them going forward. Also at that meeting, there was a motion to establish an advisory committee, and that motion died because there was no second. So after a couple months, I decided to look into the legislation that was provided. I talked with a couple of friends that I know in the township that are renters, and I decided to do a little research on it. I asked Mr. Warren, I'm going to give him a list of certain ones that I thought would benefit our renters in the township. I chose a few of them. I reached out to Mr. Warren to further discuss a little bit on them, and he gave me information on the ones that I had brought forward to him. The one was, A461, and that was allows certain senior citizens to apply for rent increase limits. That was one that I asked him to look into. He did, and he said there wasn't really any movement on this legislation. It was still pending. Then I had asked him about, the next one was A2106. It limits the amount of residential property application fee. And it was a thing that said cannot charge more than $50 rental application to the renter. Penalty is $1,500. Superior Court has jurisdiction. And he informed me that that actually passed. So that was one that passed through the Assembly and Senate. That was one I was going to bring forward, but he, like I said, he informed me that it passed. The second one I asked for him about was Assembly Bill A350 and Senate Bill S726. And he had told me that that bill actually got some legs and movement. It passed the Assembly and was headed to the Senate. And he said that would probably be a very good, choice to put a resolution forward to move it up to who it had to go to possibly, get it pushed through with our support. So that's why I asked him to draft this resolution to consider tonight. And like I said, it still needs to go through the Senate. The other thing I just wanted to make mention out there is, for myself, I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm not against any renters in our community. You know, myself up here, our vision up here is for the community as a whole. You know, when we look at our community, yes, we have a portion, I think it was like 29% of our, was renters, I think it was. You know, we have them, but we also have to look at the whole picture, is my opinion up here. And I think, you know, with this resolution pushing it forward, it would help, you know, move forward with some legislation that New Jersey had, you know, pending. So I believe it's a good thing. And myself, I'll continue to monitor the, you know, legislation put forward, you know, to see if it gets legs or it doesn't, you know, and hopefully, you know, we can move forward with ones that, you know, are. And that was my decision why I brought this resolution to the committee.
No question. Yes. Because there was a lot of discussion. Prior to this, Ms. Thompson had brought up something in previous meetings concerning rent control review board. When I read this in depth, it sounded close to the rent control. So I would like to know what is the difference between what she was talking about, what we discussed, and what is being presented tonight.
Thank you, Committeewoman. A rent control board or rent control at the, or rent leveling at the municipal level, as we discussed previously, has some drawbacks. Cost is a large one. Costs on the creation of a board, costs on the professional services, costs on monitoring, regulating, and updating, costs on enforcement. That's a lot of what we taxpayers in the municipality. Some of the pieces of legislation that we looked at were what we would call force mandates that come from the state level down, that forces the municipalities to put things into place and the costs that are associated with that. All those costs, as you know, just coming out of the budget last meeting, falls back on the taxpayers of Hamilton Township. There's obviously a balance in the services as well. The resolution and the coordinating Assembly bill and Senate bill in front of you is very similar to what we were talking about in terms of making sure that rents aren't unreasonable, rent increases aren't reasonable. But it doesn't force a municipality to put themselves in a position where they have to burden those different mechanisms and those costs. It places it on the Superior Court, and for us it would be the Atlantic County Superior Court. One of the other drawbacks that we talked about regarding rent leveling and rent enforcement or a rent advisory board would be it doesn't have a lot of teeth. Ultimately, if a landlord or a renter disagreed, they would ultimately be right in front of the landlord-tenant court as well. So this says these are the guidelines in reviewing proposed rent increases and the mechanisms for the Superior Court and directs either renters or landlords to go there. The current process is already in place for what would be considered a unconscionable or unreasonable rent. So that's not anything that's going to be brand new. Those rules and regulations are already in place. But what this does is creates uniformity or attempts to create uniformity across not only the county but the state as well. One of the issues that you have in Superior Courts in different regions is one judge may say one thing's unreasonable, a different judge would say something different. What might be unreasonable in one town might be reasonable in another. Atlantic County, we have a lot of uniformity, but not every county is like that. So what this does is creates a 7-factor system that a judge would have to review and say, if a landlord wanted to raise rent for an individual on lease renewal, this is what you have to consider whether that rent increase is reasonable or not reasonable. So if a renter finds themselves in a position of their rent going up substantially, they have a mechanism to go and apply directly to landlord-tenant court and have the court review that. It's important to note for renters out there when they make this application, it's not a renter's burden to say that the rent increase is unreasonable. It's the landlord's burden to come forward to say why a rent increase is reasonable. So this is obviously informational for renters out there as well, but it helps support, hopefully, if this passes, of creating a little bit more clarity on what is allowable.
So basically, it's no burden on the taxpayers here, but everything goes to the Superior Court.
Be truthful, anything that goes through, there's a statewide burden, but it's not directly on the residents of Hamilton Township.
Right.
This would provide the benefit across the state uniformly without using the resources here in Hamilton Township directly. We're putting the onerous burden on us of establishing a board and paying for that. We have the same teeth and mechanisms that you would have in a Superior Court, where typically the order is final once it's decided by a judge.
Okay, and just for the record, I don't think any of us were against the renters. I think what the issue was the new legislation that had came down from the state, which at that time was taking the authority away from the municipalities, and that is the reason why EHT pulled their rent control. But I think that was previously reported. So I am in support of this bill because at least it can go to the Superior Court, and the renter has a mechanism in place if the rent is unconscionable or something like that. But for most of the rents that I've checked in Atlantic County is uniform. It's not like you can live in Hamilton Township, but if you move to Summers Point, it's going to be cheaper. Most of the rents in Atlantic County are about the same for a 1-bedroom, for a 2-bedroom, or a 3-bedroom. That's my observation, but I do appreciate Committeeman Aiken making sure that this is put so there is something in place for people who have these issues.
Thank you, Committeewoman. Yes, and from committee standpoint, I appreciate you pulling out pieces of legislation. As Committeeman Aiken mentioned, we have been monitoring some of them regarding this issue. One of them was passed and signed by the governor after our last discussion. This one has passed through the Assembly, has been approved. It's down in the Senate's hands, but it has been getting a lot of sponsors. So hopefully this will be a move in the right direction in balancing both the renter's interests as well as the landlord's as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, this is revolving around me asking for a rent control committee. And I am happy to hear that Committeeman Akins did his research and wanted to put this resolution in, because this is just a resolution. 17B, and it says resolution in support of NJ Assembly Bill 3507/Senate Bill S726, establishing standards for determining unconscionable rent increase. So this is still legislation that's going through. Is it still going?
It's still pending. It has been signed by the governor yet. It has passed the
Say that-
Assembly. No, it is still pending. It's still going through the process. Hasn't been signed by the governor's
So
office as of yet.
these are not signed by the governor's office. They're still pending.
Correct,
Right.
yes.
And what we're doing is we're just sending a letter saying that we're supporting what they're trying to put through the state of New Jersey.
That's correct. Yeah, they're positional resolutions. So it's a resolution in support, and then that resolution will be sent, and there's a list at the end of the resolution, everyone from the county level all the way up to the state level and the governor's office as well.
Right. And listen, I hear my colleagues, I'm still standing on right here in Hamilton Township. I think that we should still have a rent control committee. And as I stated before, for all the above reasons, for everybody to come together and get different information to advise on what they can do, what their rights are, inspections that need to be had in the township, and the costs for those inspections. I mean, there's a lot. There's a wealth of knowledge that can be developed from us having a committee, so I'm still standing on that. But I'm happy to hear my colleagues express about this resolution that we can support going forward. So I really appreciate what you were saying, Committeeman Akins and Committeewoman Dr. Thelma Witherspoon. Thank you so much.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I think this is like the 50-50 shared parenting that I try to do every year to show support of that. This is the same thing. And this got through Assembly, so now people, our senators, it's now in front with the senators, they get this from us, a resolution from us saying, hey, Hamilton Township is in support of this. Especially good because it looks like it's probably going to be all 5 of us agree to this. It puts pressure on, a little bit of pressure on them to say, hey, maybe this is something we really need to look at and move this through. So I think this is a really good thing. Good job, Eric, bringing this up and moving this through. So,
The motion?
you can make the motions.
I make that motion.
Second it.
And there we go. Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. All right. Okay, 8A, personnel. Resolution to hire Tyler Bennett as a regular full-time truck driver / laborer, $20 base hourly rate, effective April 21st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Appoint Isaac Clark to the position of full-time police officer, effective May 6th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Approvals, minutes, regular meeting minutes of April 6th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Bills, bill list total $4,353,306.07.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Reports, Mr. Administrator.
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
I just have a question on his report.
Oh, okay. You're on the hot seat.
No, he's not on the hot seat, but I had a question about the Trestle Bridge and the bike path. Where are we with that? And I saw that there was going to be design and permitting, and who is responsible?
So right now, the township's in the permitting stage for the Trestle Bridge reconstruction. Township is responsible for the permitting expenses for the trestle. The bike path itself, the extension of the bike path from Atlantic County to Camden County is actually we're in talks right now with Atlantic County and leadership of all the municipalities between us and Camden County, as well as I think Camden County is actually sitting on those meetings too. Trying to figure out the most appropriate route, best route for the extension. Looking at the logistics of it, how can we get emergency vehicles into the system in case of an emergency? It's still in the planning phases. I think it's how many years out, Carl? Did they say it's
10?
Yeah, it's quite a ways out. So right now, key piece of that puzzle is that Trestle Bridge. That's the connection between Atlantic County's bike path and this extension. They may choose to extend it in phases. We're not sure yet, but right now Hamilton's building the connection.
And I understand that with the Trestle Bridge, and we're doing the permitting for that. But I just wanted to make sure that the bike path that's going from all the way to Camden.
We're not involved.
That we're not doing for permitting for that. I just wanted to make that clear.
Not at all.
I mean, because Hamilton Township, we're doing the best we can. With this budget. And my second question from your report is the playground equipment at the Cove. When would that be?
Right now, I have Public Works looking into different. So we got a little bit more money than we thought we were going to get for that. So we're going to look into the equipment and having that equipment installed. It has to be done by a certified playground installer. I'm not sure where we're at with that, but 3 weeks ago we were notified officially that we got the grant through CDBJ. Is it on your report? I think it was.
Yeah. It's on your
What were you asking?
I think it was 64,000.
It was 100. I think it was 150,000.
150,000.
Off just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris just told me that he had a. Is it state contract or we? Okay, it is state. So playground equipment does fall under state contract, and depending on if we do the soft surface or not. So basically, we could scale it back on the equipment and do the soft surface, or we could just get more equipment.
My whole point is that I started talking about this last year, and I'm so grateful that we got the CDBG funding, but I would like the playground equipment up before, soon.
I hear you.
That's the point. But I've been patient. And my last question on your report was the municipal aid 2026 for the MISPA Road Phase 1. When will that start? That's
up to Bob.
That's up to
so
Bob.
we did get a grant for that, but right now we're trying to fit that into the phase 2 road. It's going to depend on what we do with capital. We're going to introduce that in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Depending on what we do with road paving and how much we allocate, the goal is to put as much extra money out on MISPA Road as we can because the road is in bad shape, and we're trying to look at where it actually began. We're going to phase it out, but we're not sure if we're going to start at the Weymouth Road side or if we're going to start at Shepherd Avenue. But the goal is to get it done in the fall.
Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Solicitor.
Nothing to add this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Engineer.
I'll be very quick. We do have pre-con meetings this week for the road program in Babcock Road. So next meeting, I'll have a report to provide to you with some timeframes and when the roads should be starting. Our first priority is River Road. Hopefully that will be completed before Memorial Day, is what we're pushing for the contractor. I'll know more by Thursday. And then you were stating the 2026 Phase 2 road program as well as MISPA. Yes, we've been discussing that. We're going to put together a road list in the next couple weeks for that phase to go out to bid probably late June and be awarded sometime in July, and then be able to get them on board sometime in August since the budget passed early this year. So that's our plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You said your first road is, which road did you say?
So the road program, Phase 1 of 2026 included Gravelly Run, River Road, Monmouth, Harley, Springer, and Gale.
Mm-hmm.
We would want to try to get River Road done before Memorial Day to help out with the businesses along River Road. So that's the key right now. Once they have the pre-con and we do a notice to bid, they have to start, the clock's ticking. So I just have to see how busy they are in the next 30 days. But we are pushing them to do that. And we will not start Babcock until school's done. So don't want anybody to be worried about that, but that's a priority that we won't start out there until after school is done. And we just also got approved from DOT for Dennis Foreman Drive, the sidewalk along Davies. So we're going to be going out to bid with that in the next few days. We'll see how those bids come in.
Do you know how they made out on Kate's today?
They got it all done.
All done?
Yeah, I made sure of that.
Awesome.
I didn't want it to be 2 days out there.
Good job.
It was a little hectic in the beginning, but everybody followed the traffic control, and it was ran pretty smooth, and contractor didn't hit any utilities, so that was even better.
That's even better.
Yes.
I think it was a good idea that it was a good communication that went out to the residents.
Between myself and Lieutenant Wade, I think we did a good job trying to get that all situated and on board. So
absolutely. Yeah, good job. Good job.
Bob missed one road we're paving. We're actually paving Key West.
Oh yeah, Key West.
Yes. That was it.
Committee members, how am I
Oh,
going to
wait,
start?
just, I'm sorry, just two more things on the reports. I'm
Go
gonna be
ahead.
real short. I just wanted to say that I was happy about the police department doing fishing, with the Hamilton, kids, ages 6 to 14, and this is gonna be in June, and this is free. And I'm really, really happy about how the youth has been engaging with the police department. I'm really, really happy about that. And the chief has been doing an excellent job submitting this backup, but I was so busy reading the murders and the accidents I had skipped in the past the other things that were coming along, but I took my time to make sure I read every line. That I knew exactly what was going on. So I just want to say I was really happy about that. And for the Public Works Department, I did like the new flyer that you put out. It was very colorful. I put it on my page and got almost 1,000 clicks. So I was really happy about that. And the way this is more proactive with the positions that are needed, and hopefully you'll get what you need. That's all I wanted to say. But I noticed it, so I just had to make sure I said something about it. Thank you.
Okay, Committeeman Aiken.
Me first?
Why not?
So I attended the police department's award ceremony on the 8th, a great event. Again, congratulations to everyone who received recognition. All of us have to remember that our officers put their lives on the line every day. They're out there protecting and serving our township residents. So just keep that in your minds, please. And like I said, congratulations to all those persons who were recognized. Second, the mayor and I attended a grand opening of one of our Main Street businesses, their second location, Crystal Hive Chapter 2, they call it. Another great addition for Main Street. Those businesses there, they're all working in conjunction. It's great. It's great to see that connection with everyone there. While we were there, we were very observant of the traffic and the flow there, and we questioned a couple things, and we decided to bring some information to Brett to possibly look at. And hopefully it goes further. I know he has to reach out to the county, stuff like that. So just because we were there, it was observation, we kind of said, okay, this might want to be looked at a little bit further. So that was a great thing. What else did I do? I attended a rec meeting on the 15th. The discussion was Leafy Fields, some additions we're looking at out there, cleaning some stuff up. It was, I guess it's in the first stages, if you will, of the project. And like I said, youth sports in our town is big. You know, we have to, like we had a proclamation today, you know, we have to definitely support our youth sports so they continue to thrive in our town, you know, builds character in kids and, you know, makes the town look great with great sports. So that was a plus. I actually stopped over at the Leafy Fields on Saturday for our HT Falcons lacrosse tournament. Lacrosse has grown leaps and bounds since I was in school. It wasn't as big as it is now. There's a lot of kids involved, a lot of, you know, of course with the kids, a lot of parents and activities going on in there. It was a great afternoon. They had food trucks, and I think it was an all-day event where they had, you know, different teams coming in and out, and it was great to see that. And that place was packed, and I could see where some additions are needed, you know, in there, especially the parking. You know, that's a big thing out there. But it was great to see all the kids, you know, out there playing that lacrosse. The other thing I did, I stopped by Oakrest for the Betty Howe, 9th annual Betty Howe softball tournament. When I attended Oakrest, Betty Howe was a staple there. I know she was a staple when you were there, and Tracy, I think she was there too, back in the day. And, you know, honor her with this event, and it's a great thing. Like I said, it's a 2-day event. You know, it brings different high schools there to play tournaments, and you know, again, since I was there, the softball area, the main softball area, has grown tremendously. They got dugouts, they got signage. It's, you know, it's, I guess with the help of the school and the volunteers, it's really grown, and it's nice to see that tournament continued on for Oakcrest. So that's a great thing. And one other thing, I just want to make an announcement for an event that's coming to our town June 20th. It's called Vets and Vessels. It's sponsored by our Mays Landing Yacht Club. They're going to take veterans and take them out on boats and do fishing and some tours. So I just wanted to put that out there to the public. I know it's on Facebook. Any information you want, you can go to the Mays Landing Yacht Club Facebook page to get any information. But that's happening June 20th. So with that, that's all I got. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank Thelma. She answered all the Trestle Bridge stuff. Except one. The surveyors have been out there. There's pegs, ribbons, and pins out there for serving it. That was item number 1. I was at the police awards as well, and that was very nice, and it was very nice to see the amount of awards that those officers and detectives and everyone earned. Then there was the landfill that has been quite a while, and it's very nice to see that that's moving along after a long, long time. And that'll have the substantial completion the end of June is very impressive. And that's all I have.
Anyone Thompson?
Okay. So, keeping in support of us supporting our local businesses, I attended Rick's backyard. He hosted a bike blessings, Rick's Backyard Barbecue on Saturday in support of the community, which is right there in Mispa. I had a really nice time. It's so funny because when I first saw it, I said, bike blessings. So I'm thinking I'm going to like ride a bike, but I didn't realize they were like motorcycles, like they were real bikes. And I called him, I'm like, I can get my son to put my bike on the back of our truck. And he said, no, you're okay, you're okay. He was like, what kind of bike are you bringing? I'm like, oh my God, they got real bikes, Harley Davidsons and motorbikes. It's like, oh, this is a whole nother league, you know. But I really had a nice time. The food was delicious. I enjoyed myself. I am not a bike rider. I'll get on the back of one, but I can't drive a bike, motorcycle bike. I also attended the police department award ceremony, which I was really proud to hear all the historic stories, heroic stories, I'm trying to say, of the police officers. I was really proud to see, you know, all the tremendous work they do. You know, I learned a lot from when they go out here for frontline into these streets and some of the things they face. You know, the chief was really like explaining the different stories that they were getting awarded for, and I was just like, wow, you know, I mean, I always think that Mays Landing is, you know, we're suburbs, but no, it's stuff going on out here, and our officers are really putting their life on the line, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the chief breaking down the heroic stories and the things that our officers were doing day to day. So congratulations, and I appreciate also the hard work that they do here in Hamilton Township. I also want to ask that we keep the family of Nyree Montford in prayer. He's an Oakcrest High School senior and athlete, and his father suffered a tragic accident. So I ask that we keep his family in prayer. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Witherspoon.
I don't have too much to say, but just a little bit. I completed my financial disclosure form, so that I am compliant before the deadline.
Coming up
Show off. I didn't do that.
I did, Mom.
I wanted to say that part. As I ride around the township, I was very happy to see there's been some cleanups. Because you see the little plastic bags down Volunteer Road and things like that. So I'm happy about that taking place. And hold on, I have this right here. This is my last little announcement. On Saturday, there's going to be the 3-year protection for your cat, dog, family, and community. Free community rabies vaccination clinic. And that's going to take place for your dog or your cat in Hamilton Township parking lot, 6101 13th Street, Mays Landing, New Jersey. And that starts at, I don't know what time does that start.
Starts at
9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm sorry. I had to click my thing. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that is all that I have to report, Mayor.
Very good, thank you. Okay, Parental Alienation Awareness Day is observed annually on April 25th to educate the public on the psychological manipulation of children by one parent to unjustly reject or fear the other, often during divorce and or separation. This is something that I have gone through and still going through. It's recognized as a form of child emotional abuse, and it's a serious mental health issue. The township has previously recognized this day with a proclamation, but I like to mention this each year. And that's this Saturday that happens. April 20th through the 24th is National Work Zone Awareness Week. Each year, nearly 900 lives are lost in work zones. So please, when you're going through a work zone, slow down, pay attention, be prepared to stop. We workers, because I'm one of them, we notice when drivers slow down, and it makes a big difference to us. So we do like to go home at the end of our shifts, especially when you see them out there at night. Please slow down. I also was at the police awards, and every year it's very impressive with everything that your team does. So once again, congratulations to all the guys and girls that did a great job, and the dogs, and to you for running a great department. Good job, Chief. I'll get beat up if I don't do this. The Hamilton Sustainability Team, Earth Day, Oak Fest is Saturday, May 9th from 10 till 2 out at Oakcrest High School. They will also have a cleanup on, are they doing, no, Cologne Avenue. They'll be doing, I believe they're doing Cologne Avenue. Or Babcock. Hold on. I think it might be on here. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Meet at Park on Atlantic Avenue where Babcock intersects. There you go. So that'll be at, yeah, look at me. I'm definitely on the ball here. 8 a.m. And since we were talking about the Cove, I just want to throw in there, get your beach tags now. So if you get them before May 1st, the season tag family price would be $25. And it's $30 if purchased after May 1st. So come on down. I believe zoning office is where we're going to get them. Steve's shaking his head no. They're coming to the zoning office.
You found out now. Look.
Yep. Not you. I think they're going to see Amanda, right? So looking forward to a good year at the Cove. I see Public Works is out there cleaning up, and they always do such a great job out there. So looking forward to summertime. And that's it for me. Reagan, I will see you later. Maddie, I miss you, and I love you, and I hope to see you soon. And go ahead, and we will open it up to public comment.
Helene Dix, neighbor of the Cove. Brett, I did talk to you months and months ago I'm going to say it was long before November, because since November, I started walking Park Road because of going to the convention. I wanted to make sure I could spend 3 days on my feet at the convention floor. Carl, I spoke to you just within the week. I wanted you to go look at the Cove. I specifically wanted you to go in the area of the child's playground equipment, which has probably 2006, the storage shed that's right adjacent to it, because you can't fight Mother Nature is what I wanted to start with. The winds of Lake Lenape blow from the west, and the sand that you buy and have trucks dump and then take the loader and spread it across the 3-acre cove, the winds come and blow it right all back up to that playground equipment, which is sinking. It's not sinking in the sand is sinking on top of it. It's mounded. We could almost start sledding there again. I suggested that the township have the loader go and start scooping sand and driving it back down toward the lake shore. Because of what got said tonight and the conversation I referenced that I had with Brett a long time ago, it could be close to a year ago, when this CBDG money was brought up and about the playground equipment. You can't fight Mother Nature. And if you think you're going to go put in, he said it tonight, some soft fall, well, that sand is soft fall, and you go put more of that rubberized stuff down, and you're going to have this much sand on it in 2 years. You won't find it. In fact, if you go over there now, and I'll meet you, I have 2 shovels. I have a spade and a regular shovel. We can go dig down in certain places, and I'll show you what's under the sand. It's that rubberized stuff with the black, big, thick, padded, you know what I'm referring to, that is surrounding that playground area. And I could take you over by the trees in front of that shed and go toward the bathroom building, and we'll dig down probably 2 or 3 feet now. And what we're going to see is 6x6 timbers where they made, it was going to look so nice. They made stacked timbers to make a walkway from the bathroom to that building. Well, it's somewhere under all that sand. So rethink what's going to happen at the Cove. We need stuff for people to play on, not something that's going to get covered up with the sand. And I'm not criticizing Brett. Brett knows how I feel because I deal directly with him. But it can't happen. You cannot waste this money. It needs to be for equipment, and if you don't spend all the equipment right there, then maybe you could put it someplace else. But this can't happen. We had a mother with the 2 little kids because I was working in my yard, and then an older man came. I guess it was Grandpa, came down the sidewalk behind them, and I better talk faster. And they must have been at the Cove at least 2 hours, and I forget if it was Friday or Saturday, probably Saturday, that they were there, and they were real little kids, so what was there to play on was fine, but we need more stuff. And I think Thelma asked for it almost 2 years ago. So my main reason is don't put something the sand's going to cover. Don't waste the money with that. All right? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Committee. My name is Stuart Wolf. I live in Hamilton Township. I have a few questions for you. Number one, there's been a lot of talk over rent control, and I'm a little confused. Do you all support rent control, or you don't?
I support what we did tonight.
I'm sorry,
Absolutely. I support what we did tonight.
Okay. There's 5 committee members. I only heard 1 speak.
Well,
They're not.
We voted for it.
You
all
I'm just
speak to me.
I'm just asking an opinion, Mayor. That's all I was asking is your opinion. Number 2. Do we have a certificate of occupancy in the township for renters?
What do you mean?
When you rent a unit, does it need a certificate of occupancy before you take tenancy?
We do inspections. Robert, can you jump in here and tell me exactly what it is?
So when the new tenant comes into a recognized rental property, certificate of occupancy is required. The inspection is done at the employees, the fire station.
Yes.
And are we up to date on those? Do we know could I ask the municipality to find out? Because I'm a renter and I want to know if my place has been inspected.
You could give you,
It's not my office,
I,
but construction does inspections in coordination with the fire official.
okay,
And they have a number of inspectors, some full-time, part-time.
okay.
You can call the fire official, I believe, and they can check to see, if the unit has been inspected or was inspected.
Thank you. One more question, if I may. There's been some talk about putting a fire truck in the Mispa fire station.
Mhm.
Are we making any progress with that?
we took delivery of the new truck 3 weeks ago, correct? And from what I understand, it went back to get some work done on it because there was a very large scratch on it.
Oh, that's
And-
not good.
Yeah, and there was a couple other small issues that had to be taken care of. When that truck is back and put into service, then there will be, the old 1819 will then move over to MISPA.
Okay, and have we gotten people with certificates to come out and volunteer to operate the truck yet?
We have a lot of volunteers, so I don't want to speculate on, I think I've heard what the plan is. I will double check on what the plan is. But yes, that truck will be out there. That will be the tanker. I mean, I'm sure you know that.
Yes, yes.
And, so that will be staged out there at MISPA.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
You got it.
Hi, Alita Graham, Hamilton resident. With regard to the rentals, I have a question. I do know that there is some oversight, only because I've purchased properties that were prior rentals. Usually, if you go in the electric panel, you'll find the permits in there. My question is, well, first of all, I want to say thank you for looking into it. I recognize that we are all having an issue with regard to cost of goods and services within the township. We have to keep control of that. We have to keep the integrity of all of that. And I appreciate that we are taking the approach that we're taking by trying to spread it out with the state with regard to the responsibility. Thank you for explaining all of that so that it's concise and very relatable. The question I have, this applies to regular rentals. Has there been any consideration as to the lot rentals? Because that is very expensive. And I think that's out of control.
Yeah, I don't know. Can we look into do you know yeah, can you look into that and we'll get an answer?
Yeah, that was the only thing I wanted to bring up. Maybe somebody could,
Okay.
because I know that it has been complained about before during a meeting, and the person I'm thinking of is not here tonight. So I just want to bring that forward. And that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else?
Motion to close.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Ayes have it. We will be going into executive session. Will we be coming out?
We will be coming out, but no formal action.
We will be coming out. No formal action will be taken. I have a motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those against? Ayes have it. I have a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You two in this meeting or what?
She's copping my pat.
All right.
Can I say
Adjourn.
that?
What makes a good volunteer? Someone who's very dedicated, loyal, somebody who understands that there's a commitment involved, and they have to have the support of their family as well to be able to come and go at the drop of a dime when somebody else is in need. My name is Glenn Warner.
My name's Larry Birch.
I'm Frank Roby.
Hi, my name's Louis DeMartine.
My name is Christy Litzy.
And I'm recently appointed as the new fire administrator for the Township of Hamilton.
I've been with the department for almost 30 years and a senior captain.
I'm one of the safety officers for the department as well as a firefighter.
I'm the chief of the Mays Landing Volunteer Fire Company.
I am firefighter and secretary of the Weymouth Volunteer Fire Company.
I started doing this when I lived up in Maine, where there's very few people. The town I lived in was 230 people, and so they were looking for help, and so I volunteered.
My biggest inspiration to volunteer is to help other people, help the community.
Back in October of '73, I don't know, I seen the fire trucks going around town and everything like that, and I was really interested, and then I joined, and it's been 51 years later, I'm still here.
It's something I grew up with. My father is 40-something years with our company. I grew up with the Ladies Auxiliary as well, and then 5 years ago I decided to go through the Fire Academy as well. It's just something that's ingrained in me.
It's important for people to get involved with their community because this is where we live. This is everybody. It's your neighbors helping neighbors. And if nobody's there, right now volunteerism across the country is down. And it's getting to the point where if somebody called and needed the help, but nobody's coming out.
The volunteer is running very low, so we are always looking for volunteers to help out.
I think everyone needs to do that. There's not enough people right now volunteering for whether it's fire department or other things, and people need to get re-engaged into helping out the community.
Well, anybody can be a volunteer if they're willing to put the time in. You have to be committed, and it's a big commitment you're going to take, but it's very interesting and we have a lot of fun.
Your local fire company, find out what their meeting nights is. Ours are Monday. Each company in our township has a different night, and you just show up and you talk to them and you meet with the chief and all the guys and kind of get a feel for it and see if it's something you'd be interested in.
So you could go to the town hall over here and talk to the fire administrator, and he'll set you up with an application.
If you want to become a member, we also do junior members. Yeah, come down here Tuesday night and get an application.
It's really important to step up for your community, and even if you don't do it on the fire side, there's EMS, there's all different services, public services that you can do, and we need the next generation to come up and start taking the helm.
We've had many impacts, motor vehicle accidents where we help people get out of cars, fires where we help save property, animals that we pulled out of houses.
You don't get paid for it, but the payment that you get inside is worth it completely. And it's one of those things, if I didn't volunteer, who would be here to take my place, and what if it was your house? Growing up, it's always, well, what if it was our house? And it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever been a part of.
If you were interested in becoming a volunteer, you can go to any one of the 4 firehouses. One's in Mays Landing. The second one, Weymouth Firehouse, is up off of the Black Horse Pike. Laureldale Fire Company is off of Route 50, right by the expressway entrance. And then Cologne is down on the other side of the expressway behind the mall. Or you can come to my office. I'm in the township, the main building there on 13th Street. In the fire administrator's office. I'd say dedicated. They're dedicated.